Guess what? If you feel like you're fighting for your life, stop fighting. Stop the fight. You don't have to fight. It ain't about slaying dragons and demons and all that fantasy. And yet you feel like you're just, that there's a lot of pressure there. I know this world puts a lot of pressure on our shoulders. But we actually put the pressure. I've been talking a lot about this. It's like if anybody ever uses a pressure cooker, right? The more that we hold in, suppress, deny how we really feel, and we create these like artificial senses of like, you gotta, you need to feel good, or you need to feel like this false artificial sense of happiness. If you're faking the funk, then that's obviously inauthentic to yourself, to your soul. It's fake to your soul. If you're fucking overwhelmed, then it's like, create time and space for you to feel a little overwhelmed in a safe place. Versus this just like perpetual, like feeling like you gotta, that hustle and that grind and the survival and the fighting and the just doing a lot of things, but not accomplishing a lot of things. Does anybody feel like that? Like, man, you're working your ass off. Think about it. I bet you most of you worked your fucking butts off last year. What do you got to show for it? Honestly, what do you got to show for it? Did you buy the property? Did you get your ranch? Did you get your new home? Did you get your new car? Did you pay off all your fucking debt? What do you have to show for all the fucking hard ass work? And yet so many of you are tired of that. You're tired. It's spiritually, man, emotionally. In the depths of who you are, you're tired. You're exhausted emotionally. And it's because you're fighting with yourself. You're really fighting with yourself. That is the fight. You think it's about fighting with the world or fighting with, people that are successful or your boss, your partner, but it's all about you. Because everything that's conflict on the outside is reflective. Come on now. It's a reflection on the conflict that's really happening on the inside. Everything's mirrored. It's mirrored and it can also be magnified. So a lot of times you're magnifying even what's going on the inside. And that's why I'm telling you, just stop the fighting. Stop fighting with yourself. Make peace with yourself. And the way you make peace with yourself is when you start looking in the mirror with eyes of compassion. You start looking at yourself like you're someone that you really care about. Like genuinely, you really, really fucking care about this person, and you really, really want the best for the person that you see in the mirror. But you cannot improve until you fully know where you stand right now. Hear me when I say this. If you do not have an absolute, clear understanding for who you are right now, in the moment, then how can you know where to begin and which direction to go? If you're bullshitting yourself, if you're lying to yourself about where you are, where you stand right now, how can you fully know where to go, how to go, and which direction to go? You don't. That's why you're flailing. That's why you feel like you're just on a not even on a treadmill. Most of y'all ain't even a treadmill. You're just sitting there idle. You're literally letting life just slip by, pass you by. There's no engagement. There's no real like, I'm gonna go do life today. I'm gonna do life. Doing life is this, man. It's doing. It's moving your body. It's allowing your mind to take a rest, and it's to engage in life, to face your fears, to truly see who you are. And you have to get to that level of acceptance. You have to accept who you are right now. If you've let it go, then you need to know that deep in your heart that you let it go, and that shit sucks. It sucks when you let it go. And what go? You let yourself go. You're the one that has been overeating. You're the one that has been underperforming in terms of taking care of your body. You're the one that's been literally sitting around. Most of us have jobs where it's just, you just sit around all day, and then you sit around all night, and then you lay down all night. It's like, man, we're meant to move. These bodies are meant to be mobile, to be active. And it's in that you start to grow, that you start to clear your energy. Your energy becomes stagnant. And you know this. You know it. You can easily tell. You know, any time of the year when like reunions come up and you see 20-year, 30-year reunions, and you can just tell that there's people that have literally just become stagnant and people that are still living really active lives. And there's a lot of reasons, right? You're going to say, but you don't understand. I have this health problem and that health problem. It's like, man, every health problem's out there. And there's somebody with your health problem that is living an incredible life, that is overcoming all adversity, all obstacles, all the excuses, all the bullshit, right? They're not allowing it to stop them, not one fucking skip of the beat. And then there's you, using it to totally sideline yourself from this game called life, from this experience that we are meant to truly embrace and embody. But you're lying to yourself about who you are and where you are, and that's why you can't move forward. And yet it just takes the courage to be able to look in the freaking mirror and size yourself up and say, okay, shit, man. We can't do it. We can't do 5 push-ups right now. We can't run a mile. We can't bench press 100 pounds. Well, guess what? Let's accept that, but let's do something about it. And those are just examples. That's just physical examples, but there's mental examples. There's financial examples. Like, you ain't got 2 fucking pennies to pinch together. Okay, well, what you gonna do about it? How are you gonna start to improve your financial literacy? How are you gonna start to really look at your spending and your budgeting, but even greater than that, knowing that whatever you're doing now, it isn't enough to get you towards your dreams. So maybe, just maybe, you need to be trying something new. And you already know what I believe about this. My life really started to shift along this 13-year healing journey when I started to write shit down, when I started journaling. It's the most powerful tool, right? You really do start to reprogram your negativity. It helps you sort through life's challenges and problems. It really helps you to build yourself up, to really hold yourself accountable, create receipts so that you actually do have some measuring sticks. You know, if you're sitting here at the beginning of 25, watching this video, listening to this video, hearing this video, you know, how do you look back on what you were all about a year ago. Who were you a year ago? How do you know? Just based on your memory? That's going to be a distortion. You're going to distort what you remember about yourself. And because there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of shame there. Usually that's what's going on. So you're not going to be honest with yourself. Deep down inside, you know. Deep down inside, you absolutely know that you mailed in another year, you worked really hard, and you probably have shit to nothing. You got nothing new to show for it. Maybe some more health problems. Maybe a little extra weight. What is it? What do you got to show for it? And you're either getting better or you're getting worse. There's no in between. And the way you get better, 1% every day. If you've been thinking about it, kind of negotiating with yourself, man, should I pull the trigger on that 1% better everyday journal? Click on that link down below. Let me send you an incredible tool that will activate your self-accountability. It's not too late. Now is the time when you're hearing this message. This message is a message from God to you through me to hopefully get you going. But you got to take action. And it takes being honest with yourself. But the most powerful thing about the journal is you're keeping receipts. You can look back 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and you're like, dang, I was talking about this and thinking about that. It's incredible. It's so incredible when you can actually document your mental, emotional, spiritual state of being. You're documenting. You're processing in a way that is so intimate, and yet it's so freeing because all that chaos and clutter that's going on in your mind, when you start writing things down, you're freeing yourself. You're clearing. It's like the most cleansing process that you could do. A lot of people like to do these cleanses. You want to mentally cleanse? You start writing shit down. I guarantee it. You're gonna be a lot more clear about your thoughts, about your actions, about the decisions you need to make. Everything. And I highly encourage you. I don't care whether you want to get a notebook, whether you want to buy somebody else's thing, or you're ready to jump on the 1% better every day bandwagon. Let's get it going. Enough is enough. You don't need to think anymore. You don't need to ponder and consider and bargain. I mean, all of that is part of grief. You're sad. What are you sad about? You're sad because you're probably feeling pretty guilty that you let it go. Let what go? The wrong thing. You let your life go when you really need to let all this other shit that's been holding you back, you need to let that go. It's time to break up with that. It's time to break up with those patterns and those habits that are holding you back, that are only giving you validation for what you don't want in life. And it's just quick fixes. It's quick relief, temporary. Versus when you truly feel like you're putting in work, you have an honest appraisal of yourself. The gym is usually the best place for that to be seen. Is like when you look at yourself right now and then you go in the gym and you're like, yeah, you're going to compare yourself. You're going to see all these people that have been putting in the work, that have been disciplined. But what makes them different than you? They stayed locked in. And you got to earn your weight. And as you earn your weight, you're going to drop all that extra weight. And then in a year from now, in 2 years from now, we don't want to think in those terms. We want it now. But when you give yourself an extended period of time where you show up, no days off, consistent, committed, imperfect action. Consistent, committed, imperfect perfect action. It's not about perfection. It's about showing up consistently and earning the weight. If you want to get in the gym and you want to feel like you're actually building some strength, and it's not caring, no one gives a shit about you in there. Yeah, people may look at you, but they're not going to be sitting there saying, oh, look at this guy, ha, 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 look at this girl, ha, ha, ha. They don't give a crap. They're worried about their own insecurities, I can guarantee you. Even people that are in great shape, most people, this is a most people thing. Most people on this planet have yet to do the inner work. Did you hear me? Most people. That means rich people. That means healthy body people, right? That means people that look like they're in great relationships. They have not done the inner work to truly heal the emotional wounds. And yet, so they do all this exterior is to give them validation. It's an external validation of an internal insecurity. They feel, and I've experienced this. I know what that is. But I also know what this is. And this is what you truly desire, is to heal, to do the real inner healing work, to really start to heal your inner wounds. And as you do that, it's just naturally, you start caring for yourself more. You start loving yourself more. You start really appreciating every single day of life. You start really looking at what you're putting in your body and saying, you know what, that doesn't, I don't want that. I don't want to do that to myself. I love myself too much. I don't want to really spend time with these people. I probably need to give myself some space. I can send them love, but maybe being around them is wearing off on me, and I don't really know if I want that right now. Maybe I need to go spend some time with myself and find some other people that are aligned with this journey, which there's plenty right here. If you're listening to this message, if you're hearing this message, you are one of those people that are being called, that are being chosen to heal yourself for the greater good of humanity. That you healing the inner, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual wounds, it ultimately heals the physical, and it gives you the creativity to be able to actually align yourself with the financial abundance that is, it's yours. It's yours. You don't have to suffer. Suffering. Why do you want to struggle? Why do you want to suffer? It's because you think that that's as good as it gets. Someone has planted that seed in you, and you continue to identify with that seed, which is really a weed that needs to get pulled and tossed out. And you need to start planting new seeds. And this is the whole process of positive affirmations. This is planting new seeds. This is the process of journaling. This is writing down and planting those new seeds of identity, improving your self-identity, your image of self. I am healthy. I am abundant. I am worthy. I am loving. I am lovable. I am unstoppable. I am rich. I am strong. I am powerful. This is the reprogramming process. And on top of that, you then get into the spiritual piece where you got to clear your mind. That's such an important piece of this. You can't show up with a distorted mind. That's why the sobriety is so important. You need to having the willingness to free yourself of chemicals. It comes so naturally and organically when you really start to identify with this spiritual journey, with truly loving yourself, with caring for yourself. When you love yourself and care for yourself at such a deep level, it's like, why would you do that? Why would you need that other shit? It doesn't align. It doesn't make sense. Where I'm at now, it doesn't make sense. Where I was previous to 13 years ago, fuck yeah, man, I was in that vicious cycle, that vicious fucking cycle. every single day was a battle. And it was a battle within. And obviously it was a battle without, because if I was battling myself within, beating myself down, putting myself down, right? Clearly, I was going to also create those types of scenarios on the external world that would then just what? Perpetuate the cycle. And you got to break the cycle. This is a mental game. It's all right here. It's all in the mind. It's all in the heart. It's all in the soul. And sure, it takes some courage. That's the whole breaking point from freeing yourself from suffering. If you, on a regular basis, feel shame, grief, fear, anger, right? Apathy, right? You're suffering. And it's psychological suffering. I guarantee you it's not because your house got burned down or that you're had a hurricane devastate your entire neighborhood and wipe out everything you have. You don't have that kind of suffering. You have mental, psychological suffering. You're manufacturing your own suffering. It's not real. Oh, but you don't know. This stuff happened to me. You don't understand. All this stuff happened to me. I know it did. It happened for you to hear this message, to then start to respond and awaken to the truth that it's time to transcend. What does transcend mean? It means to overcome things spiritually by letting go of your energetic attachment to the things that are causing you pain. You let it go. You release. You release. And the only way you can do this is by looking in the mirror and with honest eyes of compassion, seeing where you stand right now. Assessing your story, your life, doing some accountability, right? Writing down all of the major life experiences that have happened to you in your childhood, right? In your family, in relationships, in work, right? Writing down all the significant things that happened to you, the bad things. And once you have a really clear picture of that, it's sad. It's sad. My heart goes out to you. I truly, genuinely have a ton of compassion for the fact that you've gone through that. And I know that I can make it sound like easy, which that is a part of the process, is to really, it's easy if you want it to be easy. It's hard if you want it to be hard. You choose. It's the person that says, I can't do this, or I can. Both are right. Both versions of you is correct. There's a version of you that says, I can do this. There's a version of you that says, I can't. Which one do you want to choose to do? The choice is yours. If you're hearing this message, the choice is absolutely yours. And it's the wildest thing that we are so afraid to look ourselves in the mirror, to stop with the distractions, give ourselves some time, 6 months. And when I say time, I'm not talking an afternoon. I'm saying 6 months, a year, to literally just set aside all the distractions, right? All the fan stuff, set aside all the addictions, like literally just put yourself in that state of being and saying, let me invest in myself. Let me get honest with myself. Let me start doing some self-discovery. Let me start working on some forgiveness and some healing and doing some self-improvement, developing a better version of myself. It's the most beautiful, glorious thing you could do. Fuck. Man, if you don't see that in you, I wish I could show it to you. I wish I could show you. I believe you do have that ability. I believe that you do have a vision for your potential inside of you. I know I always did. So I can only relate through me. I know that even in my darkest days, my most oblivious state of being, I had a vision for myself. I knew that there was something pretty amazing inside of me. But I didn't believe in it. I thought, right? The doubt, the guilt, the fear, the shame would outweigh any glimmer of hope, of potential, of possibility. And I'm so grateful that I can articulate that for you. Because ain't nobody was articulating that shit for me. It was magic tricks and then really not focused on really believing in myself, right? I needed to believe in something else greater than myself in order to figure things out, and that didn't work. You need to believe in yourself. This needs to be about you. And yes, there is a connection with God, but it needs to be about you. God is not going to do the work. I am not going to do the work for you. No one's going to do the work for you. It's all about you. You got to want this. And if you want it, guess what? There is so much resources for you scattered throughout the internet, for sure nowadays. But guess what? If you want to start doing the self-discovery, results kill excuses. Download the app. Don't just download the app. Pick one of the courses. Watch the Start Here Now video. Pick a course. Print out all the worksheets or order a workbook. I'd be happy to send that to you. And start doing the work. Is it going to be easy? No, this is scary, challenging stuff because you've psyched yourself up. That, oh my God, I have to face my demons. I don't know if I'm too scared to face my demons. There's no fucking demons. It's just facing what has already happened in your life, and you know what has happened. Why are you afraid of what's happened? You've already survived it. Do you realize you've already survived it? You already survived what happened. All you have to do, though, is to acknowledge it and set it free. Set everyone involved in it free. That's all you got to do. You've already survived it. You've already lived through it, and you're way past it. But you can't move forward until you acknowledge it fully and then release. Release it spiritually, energetically, emotionally. Release. Release your attachment. Release the pain. There's no demons. There's nothing to be afraid of. Fear. Face everything and rise. Most of y'all probably haven't heard that one. Face everything and rise. Rise where? To becoming the best version of yourself. And if you need help, reach out. Greg@resultskillexcuses.com. Yes, you need to tell me a little bit about yourself, some of your dark secrets, and most people don't have a problem doing that. Then you got to book an appointment, and your ass better show the fuck up, right? The cool thing right now is that when I was starting my journey 13 years ago, right, I had to do most of this alone. There wasn't this type of energy that I was picking up on. So I had to fucking navigate a lot of this shit. That's why I've been so motivated and passionate to give back to people, because I'm like, fuck, I have figured some shit out, and I want to share that. I know that is value, because as I look around, everywhere I look around, I see people suffering mentally, emotionally, spiritually. This ain't even real suffering. It's an illusion. You're creating your own suffering. Why? Why don't you want to expand? Why are you afraid to become? It's like, literally, it's like you're holding on to something. You're meant to fly, but you're holding on to something on the ground, and all you have to do, if you just release it, you'll start to rise. It's sort of like you're a hot air balloon, right? And the hot air balloons are tethered, right? Well, if the hot air balloon is actually meant to fly, you have to untether it. And right now, you're literally a hot air balloon that has all this pressure, and all you gotta do is release the pressure, release the attachments to the things that are holding you back. And those things are in your past. They're not even now. They're not even now. They don't even exist. They're just a story. They're a story that has an emotional pain, traumatic situation, right? Trauma is real. Emotional wounding is real. But the other thing that's real is you being able to heal from that. And when you do, you set yourself free, you set the other people free, but it takes you having the courage to face it with spiritual eyes of compassion. Knowing that it was all meant to be, you can't change it, but you can redefine it, release it, and give yourself the freedom to move forward in such a more harmonious, beautiful way in alignment with your divine birthright. Yes, your divine birthright. You are one of one. You are good enough. You are unlike any other person on this planet. And there's a gift inside of you that so many people could benefit from you developing it, cultivating it, and expressing it into the world. We need you. I need you. Join me on this mission. I love you. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. Greg's out.